All right, what's up, guys? My name is Angel. I've been telling you my journey to awakening. So let's get into part six. I tried to record this a little bit ago, but I couldn't. Uh, Not because I didn't want to, but because my live wouldn't hold up. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna record it, and then I will post it. Okay. So let's get into part six. So here I am, moved back to Alabama. Now that I'm in Alabama, I am wide open. Something about my property opened me wide up. So before I get into that, let me jump back to some stories like I remember telling. So some interesting things that happened to me when I was younger. One, I was kidnapped. I was kidnapped as a baby, as a young age. My mom had to come find me. I was at the babysitter's, and my mom had went off for the day to work or whatever. And when she came to get me, another guy had left his baby and took me. And so she actually had to come find me where I was at. She went to get the police. Police wouldn't help, and I don't know why. She never told me the story. I'm careful with questioning my mom on some things for personal reasons, but she said it was spirit is what led her to me. So she found me, got me back. And then I can remember also at a younger age, I was at a friend's house and I was laying down to sleep, and I was probably like 17. And I looked up and there was this white being above me. It scared me to death. I seen it with my eyes. So I got up and I left out of this trailer. And that night it saved my life. I would say that. It saved my life and everybody else's in that trailer's life. So those are just some things with that happened that, where I was saved by my guardian angels, my spirit guides, galactic team, whoever. So let's jump forward with the story. So now I'm in Alabama. So I go to the spiritual center, meet a lady, and she runs the spiritual center, another phenomenal lady. And I wanted to get a mentor. Something was telling me to find a mentor. And I was like, why do I need a mentor? But I knew why, because I had so many downloads coming in, so much information coming in. Plus, I'm trying to work through all my chakras and do my healing, which is allowing the information to come in. So as I heal, the information is downloading in, but it's coming in so many different pieces, so many different ways. From so many different angles. I'm seeing different people. I'm doing meditation. I'm me myself fighting with my trauma and conditionings and stuff. So it was a lot going on in this piece. She gave me her price and a few things to do. I was like, cool. Excuse me. But at this moment, I could not afford the mentorship. I was like, I'm just going to leave it to the universe and let it be. If it's meant for me to find a mentor will come into my view. Anyway, so moving forward, she was having a sound bowl session one night, and I wanted to go, but we didn't have the money to go at that time. So she had messaged and said, hey, are you coming to the center? I was like, I don't have the money. She was like, don't worry about it. Just come. I was like, cool, awesome. So I get there, and I had this beautiful sound bowl experience. And I got this card that resonated deeply, and I had another awakening and more information come in, but this time it was information about alchemy, about Thoth, about Egypt, about Atlantis. All this information just started flooding in. I was like, whoa. So I'm sitting there talking to my partner, and I was telling her what I experienced, and the lady, beautiful sound bowl music she does, who led the sound bowl, was talking about it, and she was like, oh yeah, Egypt. And then I looked at her hand and realized she had the elements on her hand, and it resonated. So we began talking, and this actually became my mentor. So you may ask, what is a mentor? Well, a mentor was something that she was. What she did was she held a container for me to dump my thoughts so that I could come back and reorganize them till they made sense, which was amazing, because that's what you look for in a mentor. They give you the tools along the way, but they allow you the space you need to do your healing and process. So this was beyond helpful for me, because there was times where I had so many downloads, so much information, and I felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to, but I would just write these long books and just send it to her like, okay, this is what came out. And I appreciate the response, because sometimes it was never trying to change it or fix it. It was just like, okay, cool. Don't worry about that. Focus. She would direct me back to focusing on my trauma, do your healing. This was amazing. So I was like, cool. So, those are the type of mentors you want to find. People that hold the container for you, allow you to breathe, allow you to be yourself, but give you the space you need to process through your healing, right? So we began this mentorship program, and so then my channeling came online, my mediumship came online. I was talking to different people, spirits, galactic beings were coming to me. All this information was downloaded. Then I had like the realization, like, it hit me. This was my first big awakening. It hit me. We're all connected. We're all source. We're all one. We're all everything. And it was like my first big awakening. So then, for me, that led to the next question. Okay, so the typical question, well, if we're all connected and we're all unconditional love, why do we have this in the world? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? So that led me down deeper rabbit holes of trying to figure that out. It's because I knew it was more to it than I needed to know. So I started down that rabbit hole, and I know a lot of that didn't make sense. And then I had these profound downloads that would come through that was just out of this worldly. Like I would see myself in different planets, see myself on different realms, see myself here, see myself there. I felt, and I always say I'm closer to God than I've ever been, because now I have a direct line to source, and we all have that, right? Through our healing, we all have that. So, like, if you want to go outside and talk to God, just look up at the sky and be like, yo, God, because you're directly connected to him, because you are God, you are him or her. You are source. You are that unconditional love. Everything is, from the trees to the plants to the grass to the bugs. It's all source love. It's all unconditional love. So that really helped me on my journey. So as we went through this, and then I started awakening, and more information started coming through, then I found myself more of like a codependent. Like I felt like I couldn't do this on my own. And so she began to push me out of my comfort zone. She began to set up these channelings for me to do, or this for me to do. And that really expanded me. That really gave me the opportunity to see what I could do and show what I could do. So the reason I go back to this, so when you look for a mentor is a person that gives you the tools you need, but allows you to figure it out, but holds the container. It's like a box of your information where you reach in there, okay, I'm ready to work through this. I'm ready to work through this. And then if you get stuck, they say, okay, well, here's a tool that you can use to help you work through this. Okay, let's look at it from this angle. So I'm grateful that she was a mentor for me, because it really gave me that opportunity to be able to do that. So moving forward, so now I'm at a crossroad in my life where there's this nagging for me. And this is probably going to be the final part. So there was this nagging for me to leave work, leave my job. But I couldn't. Because I didn't know what the unknown was. So around October of last year, I started hearing you need to leave your job. And I'm like, no. So I told myself, okay, maybe in November. November came, I was like, no. Maybe in December. December came, I was like, no. January came, I was like, no. I was like, I'll do it in February. Well, little did I know January came, and that was going to be my last time working a 9 to 5. And I had to trust and jump out on this ledge. But there was this deep also sense of, you got to do this journey and you're alone. This is the part of your journey that you take alone. This is the part of your journey that you start to flourish and you start to stand in your power. This is the part of the journey where you begin to shine your light and you walk. This is an individual journey for you. And I was scared. I was terrified. I was like, no, because what if I get stuck here? No, what if I get stuck there? No, what about this? But it was never none of that, because the knowledge always lied within me. And it seems like when I took a moment, a lot of things in life had happened. I had 2 deaths. I had lost 2 aunts around this time and an uncle. So it was a lot of deaths surrounding my family, and I'm going on this personal journey of myself. I'm in my meditation. I'm sitting down. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm working through it. And this is like the last little piece of my trauma, this unhealed trauma. Why do I not feel enough confidence to be able to do this journey on my own? So I had to do some self-digging to figure this out. And I realized when I was younger, and you might not think of this, everything you played, every sport is a team sport that I've ever played. Softball was a team sport. Basketball was a team sport. Being in the Army was a team. I've never done anything that was an individual sport. Like I've never been like on a swim team where you win a medal for your individual swimming. But I've always been put in leadership positions. But even as a leader, I would delegate, right? Okay, I want you to come help me do this, and you come help me do that. I never stood on my own. So that was the fear I had to get over, is understanding that I can do this. You got this. So, earlier this year, I really started working through that. And it pushed me into a place of solitude, of quiet. And like I kind of had to bubble myself in this place and allow everyone else to push everyone else aside. And that was hard to do, because I had been so codependent on sharing information and doing this and doing that. But I realized that some things weren't meant to share. Some information I got was only for me, and this journey was going to be for me. So I did. I sat, and after my last aunt died, not my last aunt, after my aunt passed, right before my birthday, I found myself just crying. I found myself sitting outside digging in the dirt and just had this massive release. So that was the catalyst for me to release everything I had been holding on to. And I did. I sat out there and I cried and I dug in dirt and I cried and I dug in dirt. I ain't planting a single vegetable. Them vegetables were still in the greenhouse in the tray. I was just crying and digging. But I felt better. I felt lighter. I felt not as heavy, and I had grown. And then when I emerged from this, I was ready to take on this challenge, this solo journey. So for me, it was understanding, stepping into that leadership role and realizing that you can organize things, you can grow, you're not crazy. Everything you've seen as a child was real. Recalling all those memories, going through those memories, recalling that trauma, going through that trauma, working through that trauma, and just evolving to where I am now. So for all of you who want to know my journey of awakening, this is my journey of awakening, and this is how I did it. And this is in snippets, 444 on the time. I didn't go into great detail about a lot of things. There's a lot more to it, but that is the bulk of it, of how I got to where I am and the knowledge that I have. I find myself now as a galactic traveler. I realize now that I can leave my body and come back when I want, or I can go gather information and come back. I gather Earth's information, galactic information. I talk with galactic teams. I talk with galactic beings. There's a host of information out there, understanding light language, speaking light language, understanding light codes. There's a host of information out there, seeing people's past lives. I can track your past life. Like, it was all a gift that was waiting to emerge, but I knew I had to take this as a solo journey. So I know what's exciting now that I've learned this lesson and conquered it. I know there'll be some collaborations coming up, and I'm super excited about that. But I also know that I have to take the lead. I have to move forward, one step in front of the other. That's my role. So I know my purpose now, what I'm here to do, and I'm super excited. So I hope you've enjoyed this story of my healing, from healing to awakening, my journey. I appreciate you all for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you share it. I will be downloading a lot. I will be creating videos with all of my downloads as well, right? That's what's coming up next. So stay tuned for them, and I'll probably start them next week. All right. Y'all have a great day. And I have a lot of downloads. My downloads are galactic, earthly. They're everything, everywhere. So I look forward to going through that. Y'all have a great day. Thank you again. Hit that subscribe and like button for me.